Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm showcasing a team that might look very familiar to those who are actively watching the videos. Last few days I put out a video with Como and Jellicent as well. Last Pokemon was different, however. It was A9 and right now A9 got benched and Charizard is active. I think with Wing Attack it has really improved Charizard's overall matchups, and it's just been a powerhouse in Great League as well as in Ultra League. You see it a lot, which wasn't too much the case before. And yeah, so let's just jump in. We have Como with Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw, Close Combat, Zard with Wing Attack, Dragon Claw, as well as Blast Burn, and Jelly with Hex, Bubble Beam, and Shadow Ball. Opponent switches out of the stun physics into the bubble Jellicent. This is pretty good for us. The bubbles are resisted and don't really do too much damage. They go for an Ice Beam, however, that is super effective. And right here, I'm bringing them pretty low and I'm trying to force them, quote unquote, to throw right away. And we are catching the Ice Beam that way, which, yeah, a method to more reliably catch charge moves is bring your opponent into a situation where they are pressured because they're about to faint, they can't take the move anymore, and that makes it often easier to catch the move. So, in comes Stunts again. I'm going for a Bubble Beam because I know that 2 Shadow Balls aren't going to be enough anyway, and I probably need the additional Bubble Beam damage. Opponent immediately goes for the Earthquake. They know that I'm probably not gonna shield, and Rock Slide is not nearly as good of a move as Earthquake right here. And I end up shielding. I think this is a mistake. This was me being greedy for debuffing the last Pokemon. And they have a Pelipper, which is actually a really good answer to Como and Charizard. And we are behind on energy. I'm trying to CMP-tie them right here. For whatever reason, they do not throw their move though. And they are still not throwing their move. I don't know what they were thinking right here. And they don't even shield either. And right now they are really low, deep in the red. And my Jellicent is outside of Weather Ball range. I'm just bringing it in. They have to throw a move. They go for the Hurricane, and yeah, then my Como is able to take them out with the Dragon Tail. Alright, next we have a Swampert, shiny Swampert. In comes Machamp. When you see a pure fighting type, you always have to be a little bit careful and check, is it actually Machamp? Is it Conkeldurr? Well, you don't really see Conkeldurr, but it can also be Surfetched. And against a Surfetched up 2 shields with an energy advantage, you might not necessarily want to switch the Jelly in. Because 2 Leaf Blades are gonna knock you out, and they're gonna outpace you. So Swampert is behind. We know that. We probably wanna line our Como up against it. Opponent does a smart move right here, and they expected me to throw the Shadow Ball right there. I don't want them to get to another Rock Slide, so they CMP-tie me. In comes the Swampert again. I'm gonna immediately go for the Shadow Ball. I don't want them to knock me out before, and Bubble Beam would also be unnecessary. Just take the secure for sure damage right there, or the shield. Alright, last Pokemon is a Charmer. Opponent brings it in. We have the Zard right here, which unlike Great League, it can take those charms way better and isn't really bothered by it as much. In Great League you sometimes just get charmed down because Zard is so frail. And yeah, opponent is throwing the Hydro Cannon, but that is not gonna matter. That is not gonna matter. They would need probably an Earthquake and a Hydro Cannon at least. I don't know if one Earthquake would knock me out right there. And we are able to Dragon Tail down. And that's game. And it looks like I did not cut correctly over there. Super sorry. Alright, we have another Swampert lead. weak connection. I don't know, sometimes weak connection just pops up and it's not even, like, nothing makes it seem like the connection is weak. Everything just works. Opponent goes for an EQ, we correctly shield it. And they no-shield the Dragon Claw. That means I do have to throw my other Dragon Claw in order to either take them out or get a shield as well. Opponent brings in Zard. And right here I bring in my own Zard, knowing that I already took out their Swampert. It's unlikely that they have another water type in the back. And there are not too many rock types running around. And electric types neither. So we just go for the Dragon Claws. And we're gonna let them take us out. We have the Jellicent. And opponent does have the Obstagoon. This is gonna be tricky. This is gonna be tricky. Scrafty is way better of a matchup. I am able to catch the move. However, and even though they are debuffed, they are still doing good damage with the counter and the cross chop. And I realize that I might not be able to get to double close combat. And that is lucky for me. My opponent shields the bait and we get to the close combat. That takes them out. They have the Zard left. But the Zard is not going to do much against this pretty much full HP Jellicent. I think Shadow Zard almost knocks out with 2 Blast Burns and the additional wing attacks. Non-Shadow, not even close though. GG. Alright, next game we have a Zard. This is not the greatest matchup. I switch to my own Zard. I throw my Dragon Claw right away. This way we catch up the turn that we lost by switching out. If my opponent would have thrown first, I would have been behind a whole wing attack. They go for the Blast Burn, which is totally fine for me. I'm just gonna go with the wing attack right there. The wing attack, Dragon Claw. They knock me out. That's cool. We go into Jellicent. Opponent brings in Trevenant. And they throw the move right here. I counted 6, I believe. If I remember correctly, so I knew this was not gonna be a Shadow Ball. And we let the Seedbomb go. It's super effective, but can deal with it. And they no-shit the Shadow Ball. That is gonna mean we take them out. And in comes a Chestnut. Chestnut not having the greatest time against Como because, well, all the moves are not really doing too much damage. Superpower decent, but then you're debuffing yourself. So that's also not the greatest. Opponent brings in the Zard again, throws a Dragon Claw. But yeah, I'm just gonna go for the D-Claw right here. And maybe I should have just farmed down the Zard and then close combated. Probably also been a way to play this. We shield the Frenzy Plant, we go for the Dragon Claw, and that puts them really low and they faint with the next Dragon Tail. GG! Next up, we have a Walrein. This is not a good matchup. Often people don't have an answer to Jellicent in the back. However, this trainer with the Venusaur, however, has a really good answer. We're gonna go for a Shadow Ball. No reason to bait. Opponent is unlikely to shield anyway, since they easily live the Shadow Ball. Opponent farms up quite a lot. Well done, well done. We go into our Como. Don't really want to shield. We want to go all in on the Zard. Opponent gets the Sludge Bomb. And they don't get another move. This is very good. I'm immediately going for the close combat. I don't want them to be too ahead on energy. And my opponent no shields and they have the Pidgeot in the bed. It is Gust. I think it's 5 Gust for the Feather Dance as well as Wavebird. Opponent shields the Dragon Claw. This is good for me. I have to shield. I know this is most likely Feather Dance. And right here I'm going for the Dragon Claw. And I realize I could have probably just gone for the Blast Burn, which is what I'm doing right here. Opponent no shields again. And well, I don't know if they forgot that they had a shield left. But I appreciate it. We're able to Dragon Tail them down. And the Walrein as well. It is too low. It took the close combat to the face, Shadow Walrein. And we're able to Dragon Tail down after shielding the Icicle Spear. Alright, that's the first 5-0. Here comes the second set. Opponent with an Obstagoon lead. This is like... It's not like too bad of a lead for Obstagoon. But the pressure of me having close combat is just rough for them. Because no shielding just means losing your whole Pokemon. Opponent goes for the Night Slash. And right here, I'm gonna close combat. I usually Dragon Claw bait and then close combat. So we're up a shield. We go into Jelly. Opponent has Galvantula. My thought was right there was opponent already had their Dark type out. So Jellicent is likely or more likely to be a safer switch than Zard is. Unfortunately, was not the case. They have Galvantula, but this is fine. We are actually able to take it out. And now I have the Zard, up a shield, and the opponent knows they don't want the SCAF to get roasted and they switch, they top left. Alright. Right here, we go into Jelly, and to my surprise, my opponent switches in their Empoleon. This is a losing matchup in pretty much all shielding scenarios but the 0-2 for them. So unless they invest both shields and I don't invest any, they are losing this matchup. And I don't even need to bait. I don't even need to take any risk. I can just go straight Shadow Ball. And yeah. This was definitely not the switch for them. They bring in the Sylveon again. I'm really glad that my Como is able to avoid the Charmer. Because Charmers are basically the only thing that you really do not want to see, because you can't do anything. I'm shielding right there, Psyshock, and then I go into my Como against their Walrein, because my Como is not going to do anything against the Sylveon, so might as well use it over here. I'm going for a Dragon Claw, probably unnecessary, should have probably went for the close combat. And right here, my opponent throws a move. I think I would have landed a Dragon Claw at least. But yeah, now it's just me up a shield. And this Walrein is in Blast Burn range. We are just gonna fry it. Opponent makes a nice catch right here. But this doesn't really matter. I needed to throw Blast Burn anyway. I knew that, so there was no need to pay too much attention. And I knew the Walrein was one away from the move anyway. And GG. Blast Burn going ham. Alright, once again, we have an Obstagoon lead. Opponent throws the move right here. Usually they run Night Slash and Cross Chop. Night Slash being resisted, Cross Chop doing a decent amount of damage but not being stabbed. Opponent shields because they don't want to lose their Obstagoon right away, which is understandable. It's just an uncomfortable position. And then they have to make a decision. Do they want to let it go, lose switch? Or do they want to be down 2 shields? Opponent decides to be down 2 shields. This is rough. Being down 2 shields against the Zard. Not exactly the position you want to be in. Right here I decide, I think I want to use a shield. I want to preserve them HP. And I'm counting and we get the perfect farm down right here. In comes the Swampert. But while Swampert is a water type and it's doing pretty well against Zard. If Zard has so many wing attacks, even the water types are in danger. Opponent goes for an Earthquake against my Jelly. And then they bring in their own Zard. We're gonna go for a Bubble Beam, because the Shadow Ball is not gonna knock it out anyway. So we do need 2 moves. And that way we reduce the incoming damage. Alright. Opponent throws a move. It's a Dragon Claw. It's not gonna be enough. They throw another Dragon Claw. I'm just gonna let it go. I know I can just farm this down. And now we have double Dragon Claw against the Swampert. We're still left with a shield. And this Swampert cannot take 2 Dragon Claws. And that's the game. Yeah, this was really rough. Going down 2 shields and then have Zard get a huge farm down like that. Alright, next game. We have a Drapion lead. Drapion, honestly, I don't see too many of them. I don't know why. Maybe it's more common in open. Opponent brings in the Jelly Sand after building up quite a few poison things. Maybe they have Aqua Tail, Slush Bomb. Alright, right here. We no-shoot their move. Getting the Dragon Tail against the Jelly Sand is pretty fine, because that brings it into Shadow Ball range. We go for the Shadow Ball. Opponent shields. And to my surprise, my opponent didn't throw their move right away. They let me get to another Shadow Ball and they let it go. And in comes Swampert. I feel like they should have maybe gone into Drapion right here and gotten a huge farm down. Not sure if possible. They no-shielded and take quite some damage. We are able to get our combo against this. We want to shoot the Earthquake. Unlucky for us, we get Hydro Cannon baited. Go for the Dragon Claw. Opponent shields it. This is signalizing me. This is probably an Earthquake. And I'm going for the shield. And opponent switches out the Swampert right there. They probably realized they wouldn't get to a move. Here comes the Crunch. Yeah, looks like they don't have Sludge Bomb. Only Aqua Tail and... Oh, they actually do get to a move. They switched out of it, however. We catch it on the Zard. Zard in Ultra League, able to tank it though. GG, another game. Alright, this time we are up against a Trevenant lead. We have quite a lot of fast move pressure. The Dragon Claws are doing a decent amount of damage. Bad move time by my opponent right here, which allows her to get some free turns. In comes the Muck. It's the Muck that spits the poison. And right here my opponent only built up to 7, which means that this is an Acid Spray for sure. It cannot be a Dark Pulse. Can't be anything else because 7 is only Acid Spray. So that makes it easy for me to shield. I would always recommend to build up to the move. Opponent shields the Dragon Claw even though I'm at 2 already. And in comes the Volrain. I was hoping that they might CMP-time me and throw after 5, but they didn't. Go there for the Blast, but they let it go. That is a shitload of damage. And they throw a blind move. Throw the Icicle Spear right away. They were not at the Earthquake, so I knew I can just no-shield it. It's going to be resisted Icicle Spear. They switch into the Trevenant. I immediately switch as well. Go into my Como. We land. Or we get the Dragon Claw shielded. They throw a Shadow Ball. I'm going to be able to farm down. And they top left, we had the big move as well as a healthy jelly. And there you saw it. It was another 5-0. I think I climbed from like 2,600 something to, what was it, 2,780 with these 2 sets. And yeah, this team felt really, really strong. Lots of teams are not prepared for Jelly Sand. Lots of teams don't really have a Jelly Sand answer. I saw the combination of Zard with Swampert and Volrain. Like, these 3 Pokemon a lot together, and they kinda don't really have a way to punish a Jelly Sand too much. And Scrafty, you can often play around as well. The only thing that is really, really bad is Umbreon, I guess Mandivas, as well as Obstagoon to some degree. But we've won against a few Obstagoons, even when our Jelly was matched up against it. But yeah, overall, I really like the team. Como doing some work. It's also a Pokemon that I honestly have not really seen other people play, which might be the upside of your opponent not really knowing what to do, how the matchups go. And yeah, that's gonna be it. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, comment, maybe comment I made it, if you made it to the end. Hashtag I made it. And yeah, follow me in the socials above. Thank you very much for tuning in. I wish you good luck in your old battles and see you soon. Goodbye.